What's up, everybody? J-Heat Sports Media coming at y'all again with that fire as always. Spitting the hot topics and getting the sports conversation started. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Football, basketball, and boxing. Let's get to it. So what do Joe Mazzulla and Mike Tomlin have in common? Well, they're both coaches on the professional level, of course. They're both African-American coaches on the professional level, doing it at a high level on the professional level. Hopefully for Joe Mazzulla, soon to be championship coach on the professional level, he'll have in common with Mike Tomlin. But this statement he made right here, very, very important, and what I think these two have in common, I wanted to touch on. They're both players' coaches. And to be a player's coach, you got to have the players. See, when you're an instructor, a teacher, or a coach, having a student or a player, if you will, that's willing to go through the fire for you, willing to listen, willing to learn, willing to accept criticism, willing to have an open mind when getting guidance and advice from you is critical. Great players bring out the best in their coaches. All the all-time greatest coaches, they're usually known by championships and just wins in general, game to game, day to day. But that comes with having great players. But to have that chemistry between player and coach, they have to be willing to be coached. Joe Mazzulla, when he took over the coaching job in Boston after the controversy with Ime Udoka, it was some worries of could they get back to this point, because people thought Udoka getting them to the finals, they were one step away and that he could get them over the hump the next year. But it was a lot of talk in the locker room that Mazzulla was a player's coach. They liked him. They signed off on him ascending to this role that he was in. And he got a little flack because they came up short last year, but it was his first time in the role. And look at him now on historic pace through the regular season and now the playoffs. And that's because as you watch these guys play, watching them go against Dallas, the difference between Dallas and Boston, to me, when I'm watching, is Dallas is built with two guys that do all the creating, and it comes from them figuring out how they going to get their game set up and then drawing people to them. And then they do make players around them better, but it's all based off of the attention coming their way. Whereas the Celtics, who have guys like Tatum and Brown who can just create, get out their way, they can make things happen, they have a system in place, more similar to the Golden State Warriors in their heyday, the San Antonio Spurs in their heyday. They move that pill around. Everybody knows their role and knows how to switch roles when necessary. Tatum can be the guy or Brown can be the guy. They both can take a back seat because they see Holiday doing his thing, or Porzingis, or Derek White. The ball is moving, guys are cutting, guys are available, and they move even when they ain't getting the ball, and they ready even when they ain't seen the ball in a little while, which doesn't last long because the ball is moving. So kudos to Joe Mazzulla. I hope he lasts a long time in this game, and hopefully they win the title and he can be like Mike Tomlin and be a player's coach, who guys like Ryan Clark and Harrison used to talk about on the defensive end, Roethlisberger and others. He was a player's coach. Even Antonio Brown went to bat for him at times before he kind of flaked out. Mike Tomlin just signed a great deal, again, an extension with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he's been great throughout his career because he's a player's coach. Seeing him still in his position as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, a historic franchise, is to be commended, especially for an African American. Now, to the credit of the Pittsburgh organization, in my lifetime, and I'm 44, they've only had 3 coaches. And that goes back before I was born. The Pittsburgh Steelers are loyal when they get loyalty back and they get good production and hard work ethic from the coach. And they stick with their game plan and stick with their guys, and they've stuck with Mike Tomlin. But he hasn't let them down. Consistently has his team competing. Even if they're not winning titles, there's fans in Pittsburgh that it's a title town. Pittsburgh Steelers are like the Boston Celtics in basketball. They're known for titles as a franchise. However, Tomlin has had them in the playoffs over and over. Even during the great years of the great Bill Belichick, they've been in the mix. In the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl, and even when they don't make the playoffs, a 500 or better record. And lately, he's been doing it without the greatest talent around him. No quarterback play, really. And Mike Tomlin's still getting it done. And I'm sure a lot of it isn't just his coaching genius and his motivational skills, but I'm sure he would say his greatest gift is having a group of guys that like to be coached. And these guys have been able to buy in because guys before them, they like to be coached too and have raved and praised the great Mike Tomlin. So kudos to both these African-American brothers. I'm wishing Mike Tomlin a successful season moving forward with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hopefully they make the playoffs. Go get that money too. Kudos to him for making more bread on his extension. And hopefully Joe Mazzulla can follow in those same footprints. We'll see as time goes on. All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is, and you know who you're looking for. J-Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, or get at me in the comments. Find me on YouTube, Instagram, X, and TikTok.